There's this unnamed rap group, and they're like, I'm the biggest fan of this rap group. Like, I'm a super fan. And I get a phone call, and then my agent says to me, you're going to do an interview with them today. And I'm thinking, yo, this is like dream come true. And I've got on me a vinyl that I've had since I was maybe like 14 years old. And it's like the original print of the album from that group.
How?
And it's worth like mad money. And I was like, yo, I want to get these guys to sign it. And I get there, and what I realized is they're like a 90s rap group. So in my mind, they're all like sort of these young 20-year-old rappers, but really they're just old 40-year-old men. And they don't want to hear some young guy saying like, so you're singing your first album, eh? You know what I mean? And they just did not want to do the interview, and they were really arseholes to me. And I go up to the main guy and I say, can you please sign my vinyl? And he just goes, nah. And I'm like, it's crushed me, like, I'm so sad.
That is crushing.
Yeah, like really upset me.
You won't expect Coldplay to behave like that, would you?
Like, yeah, really, like, I was really upset. And then I went to go watch them perform. And I'm standing the backstage, and I'm seeing them walk past me. And one of the members walks past me, goes in his pocket and drops out a huge bag of weed. Like, it's about like maybe a half ounce.
Is that big?
It's pretty big, yeah. It's like a sack, right? And obviously I'm like, oh, let me tell him. And then I thought, actually, he's a bit of a prick. So I just put my foot over it and I stole it.
So
I stole their bag of weed.
I feel like while we're telling drug stories, I've got one.
Go on, Sarah.
I was in Amsterdam, so it was legal, shut your face, and I had a space cake, and I complained at the shop because it was really dry.
And it didn't have a very good rise.
They needed to put a bit of buttercream or something in it.
I was seeing this girl. We weren't properly dating, sort of seeing her, and she lived with her aunt and uncle. In the middle of the night, she was getting up early to go to work, and I wasn't working that day. So in the middle of the night, I became very ill with food poisoning.
Oy.
And as I was being sick, I messed my pants. Quite severely.
Both ends. We got sickies.
A classic both ender.
Oh, both ends. Sickies up top and then runnings down below.
Yeah,
Horrid.
absolute carnage.
Horrid.
Right? But ultimately, I finished. I cleaned up the bathroom, and I obviously had these pants that were gone.
Yeah.
So I found a plastic bag, put in a bag, right? Then I hid them in the cistern of the toilet. So I put it in there, and I go back to bed. She gets up, goes to work like 7 or 8 in the morning. She goes, "Oh, just let yourself out." My aunt and uncle already at work. I'm like, I've absolutely nailed this. I go back in and get the bag out the cistern, and it's all dry and stuff like that, but it's out, but it's obviously a bag full of pants and shit. So I put it on her bed as I'm getting dressed to know that if I put it right in the middle of the bed, I know I won't forget it then. Because it'll be there. It's looking at you, isn't it? So I get dressed, go downstairs, the door to the house I haven't got a key for slams behind me. And I remember there's a bag of shit on her bed.
And you never called me, Rob. Found it there.
I messaged her and I just said, I'm really sorry. There's a bag on your bed. Don't open it. Just pick it up and take it to a street bin. And let's never talk about this ever again.
You've got the energy of someone that shits in bags now and again.
I've said it once, I'll say it again. If you haven't shit yourself, you're either lying or you're not living life. You've got to go for it.
Absolutely.
Well done, Rob Beckett.
Thanks, guys.
Jessica, come on.
Oh, yeah.
Let's hear from you first.
It starts like a lot of my stories start, which is with me trying to blag free drinks.
Lovely.
Brilliant.
I'm in.
I was in a bar with 2 of my mates, and we were struggling to get served, and we could see all these people sort of filing in and going upstairs to a private party.
OK.
And it said on the door, Toby's do. So we were like, all right, we'll just go in. There might be some free drinks. If anyone asks, we know Toby. We got in there, bold as brass. Yes, there were free drinks. Yes, we knocked them back. It was quite a chilled vibe until someone came over and they were like, how's it going? And I just went, we know Toby. And they were like, oh, OK, how? And I said, from uni. And he was like, all right, were you at Oxford as well?
Oh, yeah.
He started asking me questions about university and I was getting hot and flustered, so I just went, where is Toby anyway? And he said, well, obviously he's dead. Oh. And this is his memorial drinks.
This was a wake.
Oh, my gosh! What we'd done was we'd gate crashed a wake.
Who calls a wake a do? What did they call the cremation? A barbecue?
It could have been so much worse, though, couldn't it? We could have gone in...
Sorry. My friend, is the wrong gong. Now, Munya, who might you owe an apology to in the booth?
So, I used to have a radio show on a community radio station, sort of really working towards building myself up. And there was a producer there, Zoe. She was like my first friend, and I know she was a genuine friend because back in those days, I used to have a mohawk, and people would see me and sort of slowly start to back away, but Zoe kind of warmed to that. Oh. And so I thought, OK, we're going to be friends for life. And she helped me build up this show from scratch. Anyway, in this radio studio, we had these communal computers, and sometimes people left their Facebooks logged in. Ooh. Now, back in the day, that was the holy grail of prankage. Oh. You could get into someone's Facebook and you could say something in their voice, you know, that was top quality comedy then. And once I saw Zoe had left hers in, which was crazy because she was super meticulous, and I just had it laid out in front of me like this glorious platter of prankage. Anyway, I decided, rather than go down the standard route of something crap like I've just sharted on the Victoria line or something, so I said...
What's sharting?
A shart is halfway between a...
Fart and a shit?
Yeah.
I was wondering if it was.
Yes.
Well, I've learnt something this evening.
I wondered what that...
Carry on.
So, thought I wasn't going to go down the shart route.
Yeah.
I'm going to really make a convincing one of these. Hey, guys, it's with a really heavy heart that I'm announcing I'm now leaving Represent Radio because I have got a job full-time producing Charlie Sloth's show on Radio 1, which was at the time the biggest show.
Sloth was big.
He was huge. Massive. Now, what I expected to happen was that her phone would start to vibrate instantly and she'd look at it and go, oh, you know, someone's pranked me on Facebook, delete it, no harm done. But what was actually happening is she was doing a radio demo at Radio 1. Oh. So the Facebook status stayed up for maybe around 45 minutes. Oh. And then I looked under the comments and I was seeing things like the mum was writing like speeches in the comments, saying how proud she was. Then my phone rang and I thought at this point, even Priti Patel phoning me to say I was deported would be better than what Zoe's about to say. Pick up the phone and Zoe says to me, don't ever fuck with my career again. That's it.
Oh, I feel for you.
I feel for Zoe, actually.
I feel for Zoe. Yeah. I'm slightly sort of... My plethers are prickling. It makes me feel really...
Did you do a shot?
Oh.
Maybe you did a shot.
I haven't shotted, no. Not yet.
Yes.
I'll let you know when I do, Munya.
I remember when Mel got me by my collar and said, don't ever fuck with my career again.
And yet here you are on the show still.
Every person, please come through the door. Reveal yourself to us. Here we go. It's Munya's radio ladio. Zoe, welcome to the show. So he left your media platforms unguarded, open, absolutely no firewall, nothing.
I don't know what I was doing. I was actually livid at the time.
Yeah.
I did not see the funny side, did I? And I think I remember calling you a few names.
We have multiple.
There was effing and jeffing, was there?
Effing and jeffing and seeing.
Yeah.
But Zoe, did you actually work for Charlie Sloth?
No.
No.
I do make stuff for Radio 1 now, so we got there.
Self-fulfilling prophecy. Do you know, I was just putting it out to the universe.
It was a vision board.
And on Facebook.
He manifested. Yeah. Are you friends now, or is this all a little bit awkward?
We're friends.
Friends.
Yeah.
Cool, everything's okay? Yeah.
Yeah.
Zoe, how old are you? That's a rude question.
27?
She looks very young and...
Listen, don't try and bundle in things I've done wrong.
I just did it. Well, I'm very surprised. Well...
No, I've never seen you like this before. What's going on?
I'm in love with Zoe.
So lovely to have you on the show, and very much big up the Radio 1. Massive. Very big fan. Sally, your apology, please.
In my early 20s, I had a 2-year relationship with a comedian. And I didn't go out with another comedian after that. because it was...
You used the term comedian quite loosely there. I think.
It might be behind the door, will you?
Who knows?
And we were going out for a few years, and it would reach that, you know, I was 24, and we reached that point where, is it stick or twist? Are we going to stay together? I'd met his parents, got on very well with his parents, and I thought that was it. And he thought, I'm too young to die. And I ended up in Edinburgh in a show with him, and also in Arthur Smith's Hamlet, where I was playing Ophelia, and I had written my stuff. The idea was Ophelia had gone mad because she'd just been dumped by a guy who was just getting a BBC Two show and his field of vision was expanding. And I went quite mad. I put this person's phone number up in the show. And not only did I do that, but I was also in a show with him, and I used to heckle him during the show. Backstage. I remember Graham Linehan saying to me, I don't think you should shout, you're a shit actor.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So you have to go and see these two shows together because one show doesn't exist. But anyway, I now see that it was wrong. And it must have been very horrible for them because it was quite public, and I am sorry.
Who was it?
Richard Herring.
Oh, but you always used a pseudonym.
Yeah, Dick Kipper.
Dick Kipper.
Nobody could possibly guess
that
who
out.
it was.
You're giving his number out, Sal. That's quite, yeah.
It was, yeah, it wasn't...
That was in the day of the landline. He couldn't escape that.
That's true. He didn't have a mobile.
Why didn't you just get off with Stuart Lee and be done with it?
I obviously did that to the other end.
She did.
Well, my story involves a lot of gangsters.
Good.
So, actually, I did gigs back in the day, and I did a gig up in Leicester, and I got shortchanged.
OK.
So I was waiting for the money all night, and then I go to the car, and you remember those days they used to give you, like, cash in a wallet?
Yeah.
I went to my car waiting for my money, and the guy gave me an envelope. I opened it up, there was 100 quid in it. It was 200 quid for the gig. And I'm like, where's the rest of the money? I found him, he goes, I gave you 200 quid in the wallet, mate. 15 years ago was a lot of money. Even now is a lot of money.
Yes.
That's what I'm getting paid for this gig.
Why is he getting more than me?
And I went back inside, I said, where's the money? And he said, I gave you the 200 quid. Where you've put it in your car and hidden it, haven't you? It was a nice venue, like candles, these kinds of decorations everywhere.
Ooh, bougie, bit bougie.
It was very bourgeois. And this is Leicester, and Leicester's a proper shithole. And I'm like, I haven't been paid properly. Let's nick the candles. I got the candles, went back to my Nissan Micra.
Don't name drop on this show, please.
Trying to get a free Micra out of this gig. And I put the candles in the car, and I went back, and I said, look, I'm going, where's the rest of the money? They said, you've hidden it in the car. I said, no, I haven't. They said, call security out, check his car.
Oh, guys, this is terrible.
They checked my car, found the stolen candles. So they think I've lied about the money and I stole their candles. So I phoned up this girl I was going out at the time. I said, call the police, because you ain't going to see me again. There was gangsters there, there was security there. The venue manager came out. You stole our candles. I can't fucking believe you stole our candles.
I was really angry.
And they took the candles back. They said I've hidden the other 100 quid. Promoter called me up and he goes, and they said, you're going to be gigging for us around the Midlands for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
Or you pay for these candles. So since then, the reason my career hasn't gone anywhere...
You're still paying back the candle debt.
I can finally come out and say, leave me alone.
Lou Roll, does this ring any bad bells? Oh.
I have a feeling it might relate to
on,
a thing I did. I swear I have never damaged a hotel room in my career, ever. And well, this happened. Jane was with me on tour, and I was in Brighton, and we stayed at this hotel, little bijou hotel, little
nice,
kind of designery, very nice. This couple had bought it and done it up. Everything was a little bit special. And it was a suite as well, so it was 2 little rooms, and then there was a lovely, big, huge bathroom, wet room. And it was about 1 o'clock in the morning, and the loo in the bathroom was making quite a noise, and I could tell it was just the stopcock was jammed. And I thought, I think I can handle this. Jane said, I'm going to call them up. I said, don't bother them, I can do this. And I took the porcelain lid off the top of the loo, off the cistern.
Yeah.
And as I took it off, it literally just flew. It just flipped in my... I don't know how it came out of my hands, and it just smashed everywhere, all over the floor of this amazing wet room. And I had had a few beers, and I thought, now I need to use the loo, and it's quite bad that I can't go in there because it's covered in broken bits of porcelain. So I thought, if I pee from the door of the bathroom and I can reach the hole in the middle of the wet room, right? I can do that. It was quite a while ago. And I can reach the hole in the middle of the bathroom, and it should be OK. But unbeknownst to me, Jane had rung the manager, and he had come up. So I was standing in the doorway like this, pissing all over the bathroom floor, and the manager just came in, and I said, hello. Hello, I can explain this. And he just literally just turned on his heel and walked out. And in the morning, I still felt there was more to be explained. I really felt terrible. And so we were checking out, and I said, but I just feel so bad. Can I just explain something? And he just said, just go. It wasn't even like, I don't want an explanation, I don't want you to pay for it. Just go.
By the way, Jack, sorry to be pedantic.
Yeah.
I don't think the thing inside the lid is the stopcock. I think it's the ball valve. Thomas, watching.
Well, yeah, your knowledge is better than mine, and I should have probably called you first. Mel, how do I sort the loo out?
Now, Katherine, who do you need to apologise to in that there booth?
I haven't wronged that many people. I try not to.
It would be nice if you did have somebody to apologise to, just for the format of the show.
Well, my boyfriend broke up with me. We would have a big prom party and an after party, and you would hire security guards for that because you don't want the teenagers getting too inebriated and causing trouble in the woods. I loved my boyfriend so much, and he split up with me while I was wearing a tiara, which I didn't even think was allowed. And prom is meant to be the best time of your life.
Oh, prom sounds stressful.
Oh, no.
Prom sounds awful. We never had proms in our... We had the proms, you know.
It's the same, but with different wind instruments.
So what happened?
So when he dumped me on the dance floor at prom during Lady in Red.
What?
I thought, I'm not going through this again, this, torture and this heartbreak. And I looked around, and there was the security guard, and he was the biggest and oldest and most inappropriate person to get off with at the prom. And I made out with him, and that really upset my boyfriend because he had been drinking and he didn't remember breaking up with me. So the next day, he just thought I decided to get off with the security guard for no reason.
You smashed the patriarchy that night, I feel, Katherine Ryan.
I think the patriarchy smashed me pretty good. But, I think I would apologise to that boyfriend because that boyfriend is my husband now.
And whose is the baby?
Mystery guest, please show yourself to the court. Exciting. Here we go. Come on out, mystery guest.
Big Fred.
It's broken-hearted Bobby, Katherine's now husband. Bobby, so it was Lady in Red.
I don't recall. The day before I came out of my blackout, I'm stumbling around this garden party, and there's a spotlight up on this patio, and I look up, and this guy's 6'6", massive, and so I just was like, wow.
That's what a pedo looks like.
So from there, we just had to... I can't recover from that.
But Bobby's much better than the security guard,
Mel,
isn't he?
I didn't like the security guard at all. I didn't fancy the security guard, but I was heartbroken because Bobby broke up with me for the second time that year.
I don't remember. I I don't know what happened. She tells me this, I see the bouncer, who knows? She could be making something up.
This?
Jerry.
But that really tore us apart. And Bobby had really popular sisters, and they also didn't like me because of the security guard incident.
She did date him afterwards.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, well, I had to make an honest woman of myself, Lou.
Thanks for the apology. Thank you.
Oh, hang on, did she apologise?
No, she didn't, she didn't.
I don't think I actually heard that.
Oh, okay, please.
I'm torn in both my vagina and asshole mouth.
Was that the security guard that did that?
Bobby, though I was hurt when you broke up with me for the second time in 1999, I should have acted more mature and not disgraced myself or our future marriage or baby Fred here, who's now hearing about all this for the first time, by making out with and ultimately dating the school security guard. And I'm glad that we got married. Oh. And I hope that we can put this behind us. And I'm sorry, and all I ever wanted was just to be with you. And I think I've proved that. And I'm so sorry, and I'll never do it again unless you break up with me again.
Won't happen.
Okay.
Oh my God, guys, it's like we are. Beautiful. Oh, bye, Bobby. Don't snog any more security guards, okay? There are a few round the studio.